Dana Abercrombie of the Koalition. Thank you so much, both of you, for speaking to me. What I want to talk about is kind of the friendship and the bond. It's more of a sisterhood of
Mhm.
this season. And how do you feel that each other's characters kind of strengthen each other?
Yes. This can I go first?
Yes, yes.
On this season, Nicole Lawanda is really like a confidant for Nicole, like a big sister. Like you really said it is a sisterhood this season, I think.
Mhm.
Between our characters. And even like we saw in the first episode that just came out, like you're doing my hair, like I'm letting you practice on my hair and for my graduation. Like we spend a lot more time together this season. So it's just been fun for Layla and I think for Nicole to be able to spend
Right.
more time with Sydney.
Exactly. And I think, Lawanda can relate to what Nicole is going through, those kind of like growing pains and being a young woman, trying to figure everything out. So they bond through that.
So for Layla, I wanted to talk about Nicole for a second in terms of there's a lot of pressure that she's facing. She is the only girl. College is right next door. And so what I want to know is she technically didn't have anyone to talk to aside, Lawanda when she came in.
Right.
What does that pressure, could you talk about her ability to balance that pressure now that she has a closer relationship with Lawanda?
Absolutely. I think there are many times this season where Nicole is, having to run to Lawanda or Lawanda catches her as she's running, metaphorically doing something she's not supposed to be doing and it's like, what are you doing? There's a lot of girl talk this season, which was really nice. It was and refreshing as Nicole, playing Nicole to be able to have that moment to like not just, kind of figure out how Nicole internalizes things for herself and on her own, but now she has someone to bounce off of to go back and forth with. So that was really, really nice. But there is that level of pressure and Lawanda is there for her, but at the end of the day, Nicole does have some decisions to make for herself this season that she has to make, just independently. And so I think we'll definitely see the effects of that pressure this season.
So
Mhm.
for Sydney, Lawanda, I want to talk about the relationship that she has with Terry. It's friendlier this season.
Yes, yes.
So can you talk about the evolution, the growth of that, both within her and Terry working as equals?
For sure, for sure. I think at the end of last season, when Lucille and Lawanda had that conversation, and Lawanda was like, it's clear he doesn't want to be my man anymore. Like, I think she kind of finally has come to terms with the fact that, like, this is not happening, and I need to grow. I need to be there for my kids, be present for my kids. So let's just make it a friendship. I can't make him go away fully, but, I don't have to be in the midst of the drama anymore. So she's grown out of that.
Right. So for Layla, there is a huge thing that is going on this season, especially with her character, also with her father, and kind of the weight of that. What I wanted to know is how does she define family and how does that affect the choices that she makes?
Hmm. I think for Nicole, Mm. I think for Nicole, family is about two things. It's about loyalty, and so people who stick around, and it's about not only that, the sticking around, but it's also about attention, paying attention. We've seen a lot in the past few seasons, Nicole, people missing her events, her big life events, or kind of neglecting the things that she has going on, or her thoughts and her feelings, just kind of sending her up to her room and whatnot. And so I think that me being the youngest daughter myself, I can kind of understand, a little bit how that feels a little bit, just trying to like take your place a little bit in the family. And so I think she finds family in her friends this season, in Breeze and her boyfriend this season. So she has family not only with people who are related to her, but also with people she has chosen for herself.
So for Sydney, we do get the cosmetology aspect of it. I wanted
Yes.
to know is what are our hopes for the future?
Ooh. I think we started out strong on the cosmetology, and I think it worked because it gave her her independence from Terry, But ultimately, I think she might find another path. As we saw in episode 1, she wasn't great with the hair. So I think she might find something else. However, I think it was great to establish like going to school and like I said, getting her independence, growing up, not being up under Terry all the time in his drama. So it was a great, stepping stone.
Yeah.
Right. So for Layla, what I wanted to know is with this character of Nicole, do you view it as hopeful or it could be a tragedy?
Mm, that's such an interesting question. I don't I think I had to make it an effort not to see this as a tragedy while we were filming and not to play it like that because at the end of the day, um without giving too much away, Nicole has some big life surprises and some big life events that happened to her this season. But at the end of the day, these are things that many people, especially Black women, go through. And I think that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I never want to label. I don't think I ever want to label any of my characters as tragic or like having tragic events happen to them. That's never where a story has to end. Especially with this one being that Nicole is still alive and kicking and
Mhm.
is amazing, an amazing person that I get to talk to every day about who she was and who she has become because of her circumstances and the way that she grew up and everything she's been through. So definitely not a tragedy, definitely a coming of age story.
I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. So for Sydney, what I want to know is what does that path, not just independence, but does love look like? Does that involve a sort of independence, or do you feel that those are two mutually exclusive?
Say it one more time. So
When it
does
comes to love and
Mhm.
independence,
Mhm.
do you view that as mutually exclusive?
Oh, I think, I think the love is always going to be there. I said this earlier. I think because of it's deeper now than just Terry and Lawanda. So now we have love between Layla and I. We have love between Lucille and I, Charles and I, Meech and I. So I think that love is always going to be there. However, it doesn't have to come with the trauma that we've seen in the last few years. So it doesn't have to be this like bonding, exclusive experience. It could kind of be love between the family. I love Nicole more than anything. However, like you said, Layla, sometimes as Black women, we kind of deal with, the pressure of having to stick in this because of our circumstances. But I can love you and leave you
Right.
and get my independence.
Do you wish that she had that love and feeling with her own biological family, a parental
Oh,
units?
for sure, for sure. I think that's why she has clinged so much to Terry and the family. I think she doesn't have that relationship with her family. We saw her mom last season, but we saw in the scenes we did, I don't know if you remember, we were kind of bumping heads a little
Mhm.
bit. So I think she has found family in the Flenory family, and that's why she's stuck around so long.
Well, thank you both so much for speaking to me. Excellent season. I was.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.